Well, I have to say I've been following, auto tracking cameras for quite a long time, and you really wait for that moment when the technology, the software, the hardware have all come together, and luckily you sort of pulled it all together right at a time where we really need something like this. The Autopilot is perfect for a classroom where you don't want to have any contact. The old tracking systems used to require some sort of pod or some sort of LED tag that the camera would follow. This system, you don't have to give anything to the presenter. They just walk up in front of the camera, and it recognizes its face and it follows it. So the perfect track software that you've got going is really pretty amazing. It's very hard to have hardware act like a real camera person, to be able to anticipate moves and deal with things like when somebody turns away from the camera. But you've solved that in the software. The camera, basically the face leads the person. If the presenter turns away to the whiteboard or gets off screen, the camera catches the face again and continues tracking. So I think any educational setting that had a camera operator or was using tracking cameras and weren't really happy with how it worked will be really impressed with the new service that you've provided with the Autopilot and the Perfect Track software. Focus on distance remote learning caused by the COVID has really sort of accelerated bringing essentially the rest of the educational community that doesn't change very quickly into mobile education. And the spring we were just surviving. Now we've had the summer, we have people figuring out how they're going to teach online. We have our institutions figuring out how we're going to have to set up facilities that can work both face-to-face, can work face-to-face with some people remotely, and where it could work remotely totally. And we have to be able to do that within the human resources that we have. So setting up a lecture hall with an auto tracking camera that lets the professor move around and function like he normally would in a classroom, so that the remote students get a good presentation, but the in-class professor feels more natural, is going to be a real plus in trying to meet the needs of this crisis that we're in. Some of the classrooms where we don't have auto tracking, the professor literally has to be tied to the podium or where the camera is, so that the people remote can see them, but that's really constrained them in how they like to interact with their face-to-face class. So I think you have a technology that really can help professors do a better job at communicating clearly to their students, but not feel constrained by the technology, whether they're doing total face-to-face, whether they were doing face-to-face with capture, or whether they're doing face-to-face and hybrid with some people remote, or whether they're just in a room by themselves but want to be able to stand up and walk around and work the whiteboard like they would in a traditional classroom and provide a good experience for the people watching.